Guys, today we are going to discuss about the jaundice. The clinical term for the jaundice is icterus. 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 Competencies for today's class: define and classify jaundice, differentiate the types of jaundice, describe the physiological jaundice. Definition: its yellowish discoloration of skin, eyes, and other body tissues caused by the presence of an excessive accumulation of bilirubin in plasma and the tissue fluids. So, excessive accumulation is causing the jaundice. Serum bilirubin 0.2 to 0.8 milligram per deciliter and 0.5 milligram per deciliter on an average. Clinical jaundice occurs when serum bilirubin is greater than 2 milligram per deciliter. There is also subclinical jaundice where it is less than 2 milligram per deciliter. Clinical symptoms are not shown. Here you can observe that there is yellowish discoloration of the eye, which indicates the clinical feature of the jaundice. Now coming back to the classification of the jaundice, here jaundice is classified into three types. The first one is prehepatic jaundice or the hemolytic jaundice, hepatic jaundice or the hepatocellular jaundice, post-hepatic jaundice or the obstructive jaundice. By different types of jaundice, let's discuss about the fate of bilirubin to understand or the differentiate or classify them. We know that there are RBCs. When they get distracted within the blood vessels, there is release of free or the unconjugated bilirubin, which is lipid soluble and bound to the albumin. When it reaches to the liver, the albumin splits and bilirubin combines with the UDPGA. Here it's nothing but the glucuronic acid. When it combines with the glucuronic acid, it's get conjugated. So conjugated bilirubin is water soluble. This water soluble bilirubin then moves to the common bile duct. From common bile duct it reaches to the colon and it's degraded to glucuronic acid and the bilirubin by the bacterial flora of the colon. Bilirubin is again getting reduced to form the stercobilinogen, also called as urobilinogen, which is a colorless compound. This stercobilinogen within the uh, colon is again enters to the portal circulation, which is around 20%, and goes back to the liver. And from liver, it again enters to the colon. Some of it might go to the general circulation. Through the general circulation, it reaches the kidney. In kidney, it gets filtered and released in urine to form the urobilinogen. And remaining 80% is excreted within the feces, which is around 20 to 250 milligram per day. Some of get oxidized to stercobilin, which is brownish compound, gives brown color to the feces. Differentiating the types of jaundice is a table from Akajan. You can refer it from there. Firstly, the prehepatic, hepatic, and the post-hepatic. The cause: in prehepatic, there is excessive breakdown of RBCs such that even normal liver cannot conjugate all of it, resulting in increased serum unconjugated bilirubin. In hepatic, the infective, which is viral or bacterial or toxic damage to the liver, therefore it can't conjugate bilirubin efficiently. Moreover, conjugated bilirubin is also unable to get excreted completely, with bile causing increasing serum bilirubin, serum level of both conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin. You need to highlight this: both conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin. Now the post-hepatic. Obstruction of the bile ducts. As its name says, obstructive jaundice. There might be a stone or the tumor. Therefore, conjugated bilirubin can't flow through the biliary tract freely, resulting in increased serum conjugated bilirubin. Van den Berg test. Here, bilirubin reacts with azo reagents. When in prehepatic jaundice there is indirect positive reaction. In hepatic there is biphasic reaction. In post-hepatic there is direct positive reaction. What is meant by direct positive reaction? When you add azo reagent to the bile, if it is conjugated bilirubin, then it gives direct color. In indirect reaction, in prehepatic jaundice, when you add alcohol to the existing reaction, then you will get the color. In hepatic jaundice it's biphasic, you will get color earlier, but when you add alcohol it gets prominented. Blood examination. In prehepatic there will be anemia, reticulocytosis and abnormal RBCs in the peripheral smear, and it will be normal in both hepatic as well as post-hepatic. Plasma albumin, globulin levels are the and the AG ratio. Serum albumin level will be normal and serum globulin level will be normal. Hence the AG ratio will be normal. Albumin is decreased as it is formed in the liver in the hepatic jaundice, and globulin increases, therefore AG ratio decreases. Albumin is decreased and globulin is increased, so there is decreased AG ratio. In post-hepatic, albumin is usually normal and may reduce in late stages. Globulin level is normal, so normal AG ratio. The thymol turbidity. Serum with thymol barbitone gives a faint opalescent color when a gamma globulin level is normal, and turbid solution when gamma globulin level increases. It's nil in prehepatic, markedly increased in hepatic, and usually slight in the posthepatic. Serum alkaline phosphatase level. It's formed in the liver and bones and gets excreted in bile. Normally, it's 5 to 13 units per deciliter. Is normal in prehepatic. Initially, slightly increases in the hepatic and later markedly increases because swollen liver cells block the bile canaliculi and prevents its excretion into the bile. And it markedly increases in the post-hepatic because of complete obstruction of the bile ducts. Urine bilirubin. In prehepatic it's absent because unconjugated bilirubin is a protein bond. That's why it's also called as a choleric jaundice. In hepatic jaundice, it's present. Conjugated bilirubin is water soluble, so bilirubinuria causing deep yellow urine. And in post-hepatic, it's same as the hepatic jaundice. Urine urobilinogen. It's increased in the prehepatic because of the increased formation of stercobilinogen, and decreases is secondary to the decrease in stercobilinogen level in hepatic, and absent in obstructive jaundice if obstruction is complete. Fetal stercobilinogen normal, it is excreted 20 to 250 milligram per day, as I already mentioned earlier. In prehepatic, it's markedly increased because of the higher than the normal quantities of conjugated bilirubin is delivered to the intestine, producing dark brown colored stools. And it's reduced in the hepatic jaundice because of the conjugated bilirubin excreted in bile, reduced causing the pale feces. Absent in post-hepatic jaundice, producing clay-colored feces. Now the fecal fat. A normal healthy individual after ingestion of 100 gram of fat expected to excrete around 5 to 6 gram of fat per day in feces. Normally 5 to 6% of total fat intake per day. So in prehepatic it will be normal. In hepatic it increased up to 40 to 50% due to inadequate emulsification and absorption of fats, producing bulky, pale, greasy and the foul smelling feces called as steatorrhea. And in post hepatic or the obstructive jaundice, same as hepatic jaundice. Liver function tests normal in prehepatic, impaired in hepatic, normal or mildly impaired in post-hepatic. So liver damage. So here hepatic jaundice and liver function tests are impaired. We are arising to the last competencies. It's very easy to understand. Physiological jaundice. Usually mild form of jaundice appears in some newborn children on the second or third day of life. It's called as newborn or neonatal jaundice. Causes are excessive destruction of RBCs, increases the serum bilirubin, and due to hepatic immaturity within the newborn. In infants, when serum bilirubin rises beyond 5 mg per deciliter, then only clinical jaundice appears. So to treat that, we will give phototherapy. Here, bilirubin is converted to lumirubin, which is water soluble, so easily excreted and helps the baby to survive. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy, stay well, and study well. Bye bye.